So let's jump to Turkey. So please start your presentation.
Okay, then. Good afternoon, good evening. I think even good morning. Thank you for organization this, and I'd like to celebrate also International Forest Day. I'm working at Istanbul University-Cerrahpasa, Faculty of Forestry, Department of Forest Industry and Engineering, with the Professor Dilekdo, assistant professor in here. And it's a co-work of Bahçeşehir University with Elif Somer at the Faculty of Architecture and Design. Illumination of Prinkipo Palace. Prinkipo Palace is also known as Büyükada Orphanage, Prinkipo Palace, Prinkipo Orphanage, or Büyükada Greek Orphanage. It's on the one of the 9 islands of Sea of Marmara at Istanbul, Turkey. History of this building, it's first designed as hotel at 1898 by a famous architecture at that time, Alexander Valery, but couldn't get the permission to use it as a hotel. So it was purchased by a manufacturer and converted into an orphanage with necessary additions and donated to Greek Patriarch. And it started as an orphanage in 1903 and closed at 1964. Since its closure half a century ago, it was a house of around 6,000 orphanage. After that, it's neglected building and has deteriorated into a state of heavy despair. In the meantime, after its closing, it's damaged by a fire and included in the 2012 in World Monuments Watch and classified as rescue needed by Global Heritage Network. Importance of this building is the largest wooden building in Europe and the second largest building in world in time is construction after the Todaiji Buddhist temple in Japan. It has a 10 meter in length, 18 to 35 meter in width, 28 meter in height. It's 5 to 6 story, 3 wings building with the 50,000 cubic meters volumetric constitute. This orphanage consists of 260 rooms, a kitchen, library, primary school, and vocational workshops. And about this building, about importance of this building, our aim in the study is identification of wood species using in different part of this building. Aim of the study of identification of wood trees. So we got some samples, 8 of samples with different parts of this building. Beams, posts, studs, spacing lead, cladding panels for these proposals. Next, please. For identification of this tree, we used anatomical properties. So first softening with boiling water, and after that taking thin sections with sliding microtome using a double staining methods and use light microscope, and aim of the IUFRO committee identification features of softwood and hardwood was used to identify this tree. Next, please. Next, our results show that we taken 3 section, cross, radial, and tangential section of these trees. First sample is beam cladding with the distinct growth ring, gradual transition from early wood to late wood, no resting canals, and homogeneous homocellular ray structure, and crossfield pills like 2 to 4 taxodiate type. So we found that it's an ABS. Also, next please, 3 another. Okay, I'll change. But other 2 species, 2 samples of us is found ABS2. Our second samples is floor covering, parquet. It's a ring porous, growth ring boundaries are distinct, ring porous, late woods vessels are in a radial pattern, and like a flame-like pattern they have. Tylosis in vessel is present, precumbent ray cells, homocellular, and two distinct ray cell size with narrow and large rays. So we conclude that it could be a quarkus. Possibly it will be an white oak group, will be Petrea or Robur, but we cannot easily say that in the species level in this tree. Next, please. It's the same as the number one. The properties of microscopic properties is similar to the first one. So we found that it's an ABS tool. Next, please. We have one timber stud. Growth ring boundary is distinct. Racing canal is present. Normal racing canal is present, and they have a thick-walled epithelial cells. Heterocellular ray traces are coming, so it's a heterocellular ray composition it has, and the fusiform rays are made around 79 cells, epithelial cells, so it concludes us that it possibly be a Picea, a spruce tree. Next, please. Once specimen of us is taken from the spacing lab, it has a traumatic racing canals, distinct growth boundaries, gradual transition from early wood to late woods. Also has this traumatic racing canals, and also has a torus with dentate wall, scalloped torus. So it shows us it will be a cedar. Probably it's really using in Turkey. That's because we conclude in the species level, it will be a Cedrus libani. Next, please. We have a cladding panel, distinct growth rings, root transition with the thin-walled epithelial cells with racing canals, and cross-field pills are window-like. They have array tracheates with dentate walls. So conclude that it will be a pine, some pine tree, possibly a hard pine like a sylvestris or nigra. Next, please. And the one ABS is like our first and third samples. Next, please, is the same microscopic features that this tree has. Next, please. And one more spruce tree using for the interior cladding. It's the same as the other samples we have. Next, please. Overall, all these 8 specimens, we have cladding post interlates made from fir, and cladding and studs, timber studs made from spruce, exterior cladding for pine, spacing lats for cedar, and for floor covering parquet with oak. Next, please. And from the conclusion, it's when we look at the 125 years ago and today, the usage area of this tree is still the same. They use as for this structural purposes. And these trees have a natural distribution in Turkey, so it's easily to reach this tree. For the future work, deterioration, it can easily see in the microscopic section. There are some deterioration like staining fungi or Basidomycete or Ascomycete fungus, wood destroying fungi is also a case in here too. Next, please. That will be a future study for us. Next, please. And this is the next, please. That will be the end. Thank you for your attention. Sorry for distribution about that. So, is there any question? I'm happy to answer.
Okay, then Digdem, thank you very much for
Thank
your
you.
nice talk, giving
Thank you.
an insight to this nice building. And yeah, thank you very much.